afternoon.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Will you start by talking about the loss of Terrence Steele and how he's played for you this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I missed 2 weeks in a row, but I mean, Terrence Steele is just a rock of a man. He's been so consistent. And Terrence Steele is just, I mean, he's been so consistent, and obviously going to be a loss for us. I just can't say enough about him as a person, his work ethic and the way he goes about it. True pro, very mature, beyond his years, as far as a third-year player. So obviously disappointed to see what he's going through.
As we were asking you just a few days ago about the continuity in your offensive line, but now you have Tyron coming back, and now you have this. You talk about the right tackle, and are you comfortable doing a sort of rotation there to work things through?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll work the rotation this week. I thought Josh Ball had some good snaps, and and definitely, I think the way we, played the game there, where Josh was. You look at the things we're doing with Josh, and then Jason came in for the 2-minute drill. So it obviously worked out well for us. I thought both those guys played well in their, in their, with their opportunities. So, we'll let the game plan tomorrow kind of clean that up for us, and the guys were in today, this morning, and we'll get on it Wednesday. So I don't have the answers for you right now.
Clarence Hill, Forward Star Telegram. You guys assigned T.Y. Hilton. Can you go through that decision, and have you moved on from Odell Beckham?
Yeah, T.Y.'s in today, so I mean it was a great addition. Obviously, he's been working all year, so he's in great shape medically. So he had to work out. So I'm looking forward to he's actually meeting with Robert Prince right now. So biggest thing for him will be the language, which it always is with a new opportunity. So we'll get him out there Wednesday and get him acclimated. But as far as his addition, really, I really don't have anything to report on Odell.
T.Y., what kind of shape is he in? Or you said he's working. Did you work out for y'all?
Yeah, he had to work out. So I mean, he everything passed. Flying colors. So he's been working all year. So I don't see him. I think he's over that hurdle.
Why was there a need for another wideout?
Oh, I just think this is really just a product of how the personnel department has. I think every personnel department, you're just always looking at these conversations. I mean, this wasn't just a conversation that started today. I mean, these are things that Will's always looking at and in communication, and so the timing was right. He's ready. He's ready to go. So he's an excellent addition, especially this time of year. I've never had experience and quality of a player as T.Y. Hilton to your roster in December. It's very unique.
Todd Archer with ESPN. With Peters at 40 years old, can he play 70 snaps a game? Do you have any worries or qualms about that? If he
I think he played 26 yesterday. So yeah, I mean he's been working. So he's he puts a lot of extra time in. There's not too many times where you go through the weight. He's a big weight room guy in the first down on the first floor where he's not there putting extra time in. So I think he's ready to go and do what's ever needed of him.
Have you ever rotated tackles before series to series or anything like that?
No, never have. This is new, and and obviously we're keeping an eye on it too. And I just can't say enough about the whole room because it could affect everybody, and I think our guys have done a really good job with it.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Ball, how did he? It looked like he struggled a little bit at the beginning, and maybe he picked it up a little bit. How would you evaluate those limited snaps he got?
I mean, really, he had two plays that that were obviously big plays for Houston, but other than that, I thought he graded out very well. I mean, so it's the old. It's the old great port. He had a great game except for 2 plays, but unfortunately those plays count, and they were big plays for our opponents. So, but I think he's been making a lot of progress, throughout the year. I think he's really settled down, and he's doing a good job playing consistently with his technique.
Hankins, what's his health status?
He's being evaluated. He has I'm going to make sure it says, you know, he has a sprain. It's pretty significant, so we're still doing some more testing.
Follow up on that, Dorrance Armstrong, just an idea on his time frame.
I don't have a timeline on DA. I think he definitely has a chance to play this Sunday.
And Patrick?
Coach, Patrick Walker, Dallas Cowboys. On that same vein, in that same vein, Jake Ferguson was dealing with, I think, a head/neck injury. How's his status for this Sunday?
Yeah, it's too early to tell. Yeah, too early to tell. We'll know more probably by Thursday. So.
In the event that he can't go, can you talk a little bit about what that would mean for like a Sean McEwen and obviously Peyton Hendershot behind that one? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think anytime, you know, there is a potential injury to position, you're definitely preparing that way. So I think we talk about this time and time again in here. I mean, when you put together game plans, it's how many personnel groups can you carry into a game, and you try to balance it out and get things repped and so forth, and how many tight ends will you have up. So all those things will come into play.
One last one on that same note. You guys love running with your 4 tight ends. Would that put you in a situation where maybe you'd elevate potentially Seth Green without giving too much away? Would that be a consideration?
I really like the work Seth's doing. He's done an excellent job since he's been here, and he just needs to continue to improve, and it's definitely an option.
David?
We talked to you before about the first time in a long time, back-to-back double-digit wins. What does that just mean for, you talk about the culture you're putting in place and carrying things over and everyone kind of a shared experience, just how important that is to start building that to get to where you want to go in the postseason?
I understand that, the importance of the double digits wins, but you're talking about something that's gone on here for over 2 decades. So I don't know. I'm sure what you're asking me, because I expect to have double digit wins. I expect to go to the playoffs. And I've been fortunate to coach a lot of great players and have some really good teams that we're pretty much in that position. So I mean, this is the expectation. So I didn't make it. I don't even think I discussed it with the team, because this is where, we're where we're supposed to be. We put the work in. We have a good plan. The guys believe in the plan, but we still have a lot of football left. Just the way we break down the season. We just completed the 3rd quarter, so this is the start of the 4th quarter. These last 4 games, and as we all know, we go to Jacksonville and then we have a tough scheduling challenge. Go 6 games and then 5 games, or 6 days and then 5 days, and 3 of the 4 games are on the road. So it's just like anything. We got to get this 11th win, and then we know what's in front of us after that. So that's really as far as it goes. I think yesterday's game's a great example, a great reminder, and how big of a challenge each and every week is. So really get outside of that it would not be the smart thing to do, but. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is the expectation.
Kyle Youmans, DallasCowboys.com. How is the combination of 3 healthy linebackers, LVE, Ramon Clark, Anthony Barr, help elevate each of their games individually by having each other to kind of rely on?
Well, I mean, it definitely gives you a chance to play guys through different packages, and then you're obviously very healthy through those packages. So you're never out of your base stuff, and you're both in the base and sub. But I think the other thing too is when you look at linebacker types, the importance of special teams, and Damone has obviously got a lot more reps at linebacker than we probably expected this early for him. But he's also done a really nice. He had a big time tackle on special teams, so he's done a lot of nice things on special teams too. So I think the ability to have linebacker rotation is so important, and for Leighton to really have the game that he had. He won a game ball for the defense, and I just to see him do that after not being here, pretty much the whole week because of the illness was super impressive.
Mike, back on Steele for a second. How was he able to come in his rookie year, as a pandemic, all that stuff, undrafted guy? How did he catch your guy's eye? And have you ever, when you signed him, you're thinking, all right, this guy might not have a chance, or how did he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the pandemic, the first time we saw him was there in July. And, first thing I, noticed about him was, how fast he could run. We were just going through conditioning drills and, see a big guy, Texas Tech free agent, and, I mean, he was in really good shape and really hasn't missed a beat because I mean he's taken advantage of every opportunity he's been given. So he was first in line, all those little things you look for in first impressions. So he made a great first impression and hasn't stopped.
Of impressions, as you look back at it, how did Kelvin Joseph play for you, sir?
Kelvin did good. I mean, he didn't have a whole lot. I mean, he had the one catch. The one that we challenged. But he was in good position there. I mean, they made a good throw. We just got to be better on the finish at the ball. But I thought he played well.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio, back to special teams for just a moment, because you had a guy like a veteran like James Washington having to block and do things on special teams he's never done in his career. And I'm sure we can ask Coach Foss a little later about how he did, but from a head coach's perspective, just what are your thoughts on
I mean,
that?
from my perspective, it was just great to get James out there. I mean, just to, you watch him, come in there spring, go through an injury situation, then obviously gets hurt the first practice in Oxnard, and then just been, training the whole time to get back out there. So I mean, I just really just wanted him to go out there and have a positive experience, and I think we accomplished that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just like anything. You got 48 players, everybody has to contribute, and that'll be a big part of James' playing moving forward.
Mike, Haley Sutton, DallasCowboys.com. You chose the word resilience for this year as the theme. And obviously with the injuries and the things that this team has had to go through, that word really is effective for this roster. I'm curious what your thought process was in picking that, and how you kind of seen these guys really embrace that word and the next man up mentality.
Well, I mean, the annual theme is there's done it different ways over the years, but I think what I've learned is you have to let the off-season programs, speak to you. And obviously what we went through coming out of 2021 and through the off-season, it obviously seemed like just seemed like a really good fit and just really lined up with what, we wanted to really emphasize. And it was, adversity advancement and, just spending as much time as we possibly can on, the finish in the fourth quarters. And I think with, the questions that I had yesterday about the game, and I get that everybody has to do their jobs and ask the questions about the things that didn't go well. But I think there's so much to gain from this game because it is such a focal point for us as a football team. Because when I look at Minnesota and I look at the fourth quarter in Indianapolis, which is the greatest fourth quarter finish in NFL history. I mean, those two opportunities give you confidence. You're confident. They're chunks of confidence that you get to take forward with you. But the game yesterday is a chunk of resilience that we definitely get to take forward with us. So, that's the reality of it. So I mean, you can find motivation each and every week in this league. I've been through some tough seasons and. Where you get down and your record's not quite what you want it to be, but there's motivation for every football team weekly, and the opportunity to play on Sundays is a blessing. So to think that we're going to line up against Jacksonville or anybody just because our record's better than theirs, that we should win the game by 17 points is, that's why you have slogans like "Don't take the cheese," because that's not reality. So. Reality is you have to show up and play every week. You have to be motivated. You got to hit your big plays. This league is so much about big play execution. We didn't do that. If you'd have told me we'd have had three, if you told me before the game that we'd have 3 giveaways against a Lovie Smith defense, and I would have told you that we were going to be in a dogfight. And that's really what that game come down to. I mean, you can't give the ball away. I mean, I think we were 158 yards. Minus in field position. I mean, it's hard to win those games. So, but we did, and that's something we get to carry forward.
That it?
No,
Brad.
No, Brad.
You gotta look the whole room. Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. You said a minute ago, Steele's injury could affect the whole room. Could you elaborate on that, please?
I cannot, Brad. Okay. No, we haven't gotten that far. So, but I think what we did gain is Josh Ball got some experience. Obviously, Jason went over there. So, and played. So, that'll be our starting point.
With this third straight AFC South opponent for you guys, as you've prepared for these teams, has it helped that, I don't know, like when you've looked at the film, you've seen Jacksonville play against those other teams, that you've got some familiarity, at least coaching-wise, the last couple?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a common practice because, I mean, anytime you play an uncommon opponent, you want to see what third division opponents do against them. So, I mean, I know that's something I've done my whole career. And the reality of it is those games are part of the breakdowns. So, yeah. So we've been, we've seen a lot of Jacksonville so far, getting ready for Indianapolis.
What are your quick thoughts on what you've seen from the Jags quarterback?
I haven't watched the offense yet. I'm started on the defense this morning.
All right, good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.